Welcome back to AM Northwest. You know, these days it's more important than ever to create connections and build stronger relationships. Here to share why that starts with cultivating empathy, we welcome back the author of Choose to Be Your Own Champion, Dorice Horenstein. Good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's first talk about why things should start with empathy. First of all, what is empathy? I know that a lot of people know about sympathy,
yes,
but not about empathy.
So empathy is putting yourself in someone else's shoes, trying to understand where they come from. Doesn't mean that you have to agree with where they are and what they did.
Okay.
But empathy is being in their shoes for just a little bit. And what I wanted to, when I was driving here and I was looking at your previous segment,
right,
and we're talking about empathy, and Wendy was mentioning empathy,
right,
it is the way I grew up as a Jew in Israel, that tikkun olam, the repair of the world, is really such an important part of understanding other people's perspective, other people's motives, other people why they do things. And at the same time, it's one of the hardest things to do. Because as people, we tend to judge. We tend to look at things through the lens of ourselves. It's like, we wouldn't do that, right? We don't understand why they did that.
Right.
So I think that is so crucial. And when you are an empathetic person, empathetic leader, you have a better chance of succeeding. You create more trust when you have empathy. And most places lack empathy. As a matter of fact, there is a study that I found fascinating. Since 1980 to today, empathy in college campuses has decreased by 40%.
I'm not surprised.
Totally not. Yet, how can it be when it's something so important, how can we really have less of it?
Yeah.
We should think we should have more of it.
Yeah.
So why is that?
Is it because it excuses our behavior, excuses our bad behavior?
Oh yeah, and it justifies. You know, we stand in our own position. Whatever we did, whatever we said, whatever we wrote in an email, it puts us feet down. It's like, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Now, what is the ramification of lack of empathy? If we take it further, it's lack of understanding, right? When I am not empathizing with you, I don't understand you. If I don't understand you, I start to have judgment about you, right? When I start having judgments about you, then I blame you.
Yeah.
And when I blame you, sometimes it comes out not only in my thoughts, but in the way I talk to you. I start calling you names. I start putting you down.
Right.
That is how the progression of lack of empathy can actually escalate to the point of no repair. That's why it's so important in conflicts is to show empathy, to experience empathy. And empathy is a choice.
Right.
We all choose or not to be empathetic. We're not born like super empathetic all the time. Maybe we were born, but life showed us a different fashion.
You talk about the importance of having curiosity about others.
100%.
Right.
And what does it take to have curiosity and less empathy is brain training. Because I could go to a conference and they can teach me a couple things to do to be more empathetic. In my office, with my team, I can go back and I can do that for a month or two. But if my neural pathways in my brain increases the judgment that I have to solve the root problem, and that's the judgment that I have. Because when you're judging somebody, you're less curious about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So, yeah, that's...
Let's say someone does something to you that's horrific or to your family. How do you have empathy, or even, you've talked about forgiveness being part of empathy too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't forgive someone when you didn't understand a little bit about why they did what they did.
Right.
Again, not that you excuse it,
right,
but forgiveness cannot happen without empathy.
Okay, so how do you then forgive them?
Okay, so depending what the wrongdoing was, right? In my tradition, there are a couple of instances where we can't forgive somebody. We actually allowed not to forgive.
Okay.
So for example, if somebody murdered somebody,
right,
I cannot forgive that person who murdered for what they did.
Right.
It's impossible because it only comes from the person who actually the wrongdoing was done upon them.
Okay.
So that's one thing. But on a normal situation, the first thing I would do in forgiveness is take a step back, not react right away. Because when we react right away, we attack. When something hurt us, hurt our egos, hurt our soul, we go into attack or we go into avoidance. You know, so the first step is take a moment, take a breath, try to look at the situation from another angle, from their lens, trying to understand why they did. Have a curiosity sense of mind. Like, why did they do what they did?
Right.
You know? And then, but before that, if you cannot practice empathy and forgiveness toward yourself, it's really hard to do it with other people.
And doesn't forgiveness usually help you more than the person you've forgiven?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It releases the emotional burden that we have in our mind, in our soul. So yes, forgiveness, absolutely. I always say, when I forgive somebody, the rent-free space in my brain got vacant.
Right, absolutely.
So
we need so much empathy. We want to tell everyone the book again is titled Choose to Be Your Own Champion. Dorice Horenstein, thank you so much. You also have another book out, Moments of the Heart.
Moments of the Heart, my first book. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest.